I've gotten into this ritual because I'm still healing from my surgery. Is every morning I'm listening to the PBS NewsHour, which is I always listen to it on the computer.
Okay.
But it's always I always get the day after news. So today, Trump then accuses Kamala Harris that she's trying to socialize the healthcare system and how awful that is and blah, 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 blah. And again, here it is. Here's my, my first experience with the socialized healthcare, which was amazing. And I wish every American could have this experience that I had. And for 87 euros, I was in the hospital for an entire week. And I had surgery, and I had an MRI, and I had pathology tests, and it was all 87 euros.
And it was a whole week, not a simple 2 hours or an hour. It was a whole week.
It was a whole week. So I'm stitching, as I mentioned, I'm stitching the receipts and some of the documents that are coming from the healthcare system that are Austrian.
Since we're saying about the peace to be healing, I was also thinking about maybe including the sound of the ocean, the sound of the sea.
I love that.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that as well. So since it is summer and it is a weird summer, I might also include that sound, the sound of the Mediterranean Sea, and bring it to New York as a healer.
Yes. The during the whole COVID pandemic, they said that one could see there were fish again in the Mediterranean because so much pollution had actually just halted. So again, this power of nature.
Yeah. And we should all strive to keep that.
Well, I certainly can't resist the sound of the ocean. I'm a sucker for the sound of the ocean. So yeah, I think that's great. So again, like that idea of, where I recording some of the sounds I make with the stitching and then the printing.
Continue to send me those recordings so that I can use them. Okay, I can use them in the work, and of course influence what I am trying to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I have something, I will send it to you.
Yeah. Another thing that I learned recently is on average per month in America, there are 800,000 evictions filed, where people are told that they have to leave their homes, they have to leave their apartments or whatever they're renting. That's an average. 800,000 people. My mother lives in a city that's 250,000 people. So per month, that's the norm. That's before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And again, all this right now, what's going on in the news of where Congress couldn't come, the Democrats and the Republicans couldn't come to some kind of an agreement. And then Trump wants to appear as if he's, but people need to be supported because we're still working through this pandemic.
And more it is increasing again.
Yeah, and so supposedly there could be tens of thousands of people right now who could potentially be evicted.
I know.
So with that said, I was also still thinking, that's why I decided I would do the inside of this chair with the carbon paper and make a print as I'm sitting. Because I started really thinking of when we did talk about interior spaces of home and how important a home is.
And space, that you have your own space, and you feel safe in your own space as well.
Well, and absolutely. I mean, you have to have shelter. It's one of our basic needs. So then I thought of things that I could make frottages of, and I'm curious also, like, so one of the things they have radiators here in the apartment. I want to do a frottage of the radiator, and I will record that sound.
Yeah, okay.
Then thought, well, maybe we should just keep it to things that are inside, like into the interior part of being inside. Like I could do the interior part of like where you see the window and the window hinges, or just to give a sense of that one, that there's a structure. But I still like the idea of having it being open and just doing the stitching part. I want to collect and I want to do, and I'm a doer, and maybe like with the different sounds and that I give you, and then if you just start with, do you mix? Tell me more about your process.
I listen to the sounds that I have, and I imagine sounds in my head, and then I start trying to mixing them up using the computer if it is something virtual. And then I start, of course, playing the piano and the instruments that I have and combine everything together. And it is a whole process, and I keep on changing up to the end. So it is like me hearing the sounds, me using the sounds, and mix them with what I'm doing and with my ideas, and then listening back to it and change, and listening again and change. This is how I do.
Are you open to, like, when you do your first sort of process, are you open to sharing that, or is that something?
Yeah. No, I would, because you're my, we have a relationship. It has to be a kind of a conversation, so a give and take. So yes, I have to do that. Actually, I usually don't do it, but I think I have to do that because there needs to be some link somehow.
Yeah, and that's where, again, I just think there shouldn't be any judgment. I think it should just be play, and it's like a dialogue between us.
It's a dialogue, yeah.
And then we'll see what happens.
I love that recording of the sound of the paper, for instance. I love that.
I record from my phone, and I can record on video.
By the way, you can also record yourself talking when you are working. It's fine also for me. You can record your voice. If you are doing something and you say something, but it has to be natural. You don't have to play the part. But if, for instance, you say something when you are working on your own, it's great. It's something natural,
Can I send them to you through WhatsApp?
Yeah, it's all right. Send them to me via WhatsApp, and then I'll do myself the job.
Okay. And shall we, let's see, I think what I'm going to do, I have a feeling this